Alright guys, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about creationists. Before I start though, this is my first video, so let me put out an introduction. My name is Jake. Obviously I am an atheist. I have a very dark sense of humor. When it comes to religion, politics, fucking politics, goddamn, fucking politics, etc. I tend to take this whichever stance isn't fucking retarded. That's what I have to say about that. A good explanation for my channel name, The Young Atheist. I'm young. I am only 15 years old. A lot of you will have no respect for the fact that I'm 15 years old. That's fine. You don't have to watch this video. Nobody's making you. You don't have to listen to a word that I say. For those of you who do want to watch this video, though, hopefully it's entertaining. It's my first video. I don't know how good it's going to be. Anyways. So now, for those of you who don't know what a creationist is, although I'm sure that all of you do, the actual definition of creationism is the following. The belief in the supernatural origin of the universe or of humans and other living things, especially as based on the literal interpretation of the account of the creation related in the Bible. So, to put that in simple terms, creationists believe that all life on Earth was created by God, and normally creationists are pretty strongly against evolution, which is going to be a big part of this video, is evolution. So, okay, before I get any comments on my video, well, there's all this evidence for God, and all of your evidence for evolution is merely interpreted by scientists, and trust me, I have seen people try to argue this point. Let me tell you that the only evidence we have for God is a book written by whom? Oh yeah, not God, so fuck off with that shit. Another thing is we have a lot of evidence for evolution. Evolution is not, I repeat, not a theory. Evolution is fact. We can see it happening all the time. And okay, so common ancestry or common descent is a theory, and it's what people tend to think of whenever they hear evolution. To put it simply, any two species any two species have a species that they both descended or evolved from. Maybe I'm not describing that very well, but that is a basic way to put it, how I understand it. Anyways, common ancestry is a theory, but, you know, it's still hard to debate due to fossilized evidence we have found. Mostly transition fossils, which are essentially fossils of species that are the link between two other species, and they kind of show that those two species, kind of one did evolve into the other, you know? It kind of shows what was going on between those two species. Okay, so now that we understand that evolution itself is not debatable, we can see it happening. We do have some heavily debated topics, which are micro and macro evolution. You might have heard of them. So, where was I? Microevolution. Okay, microevolution is when a species will gain traits or change, basically adapt in some way, but it still remains the same species. Macroevolution is when a species changes so much that it becomes a new species, meaning it cannot create fertile offspring, which with the species that it was before it changed so heavily, you know. And this is one thing that I see a lot of creationists try to debate. I have seen a lot of creationists agree with microevolution, agree that it's a thing, while macroevolution is impossible. But you know, in reality, believing in one and not the other is itself impossible. Macroevolution is technically just a product of a lot and a lot and a lot of microevolution taking place so much that a population changes too much from the rest of its species to where it becomes not the same species. By saying microevolution is a fact and macroevolution is fiction, you are saying that a population can only change a certain amount, but that's just wrong, because with billions of years, a population can change more than you'd ever believe. Which brings me to my next topic. How old is the Earth? Well, creationism technically states that the Earth is older than at least 50,000 years, but a lot of creationists have interpreted the Bible in a way that states that the Earth is only 6,000 years old. So that's 44,000 years less than what the Bible actually says humanity is at least 50,000 years old, which means that it might state that the Earth is older. So the Bible, kind of gets it there. Creationists don't. They seem to think that the Earth is not very old. But scientists seem to think that the Earth is roughly 4.5 billion years old. And, how do they know that? Well, they have one good way to tell. So the biggest way that we have to date the Earth is what's called carbon dating or radiocarbon dating, which is performed by measuring the ratio of the carbon-14 isotope to the the carbon-12 atom, which we find in fossils or just dirt that we find under many layers of other dirt. And okay, we can determine this because carbon-14, an isotope, has a half-life, meaning that in a set period of time, half of this existing carbon-14 will turn into nitrogen. And that's kind of how we can measure it. It's based on kind of how much carbon-14 is left in relation to how much carbon-12 is there, because the carbon-12 does not change. However much carbon-12 is in there is how much carbon-12 was in there to begin with. So we could tell from the rate. There's a more detailed explanation in this video by Scientific American. Click here to check that video out. I'll put a thing in here, or I will link it in the description if you want to go check out there. It's a very interesting video. I'm sure you guys would love to hear about it. Or not. Okay. So now that we have the Earth's date out of the way, my last topic is the most important one by far: the origin of life on Earth, the first organism to exist. Scientists believe that it was a single cellular organism that came about by chance, and we all evolved from that cell, which divided millions of times, and those cells evolved. They became multicellular. They went out on land, a lot of stuff like that. And creationists debate that life couldn't have arose by chance and that a higher power must be involved. Creationists obviously believe that God created all of Earth's organisms himself. So, assuming that the universe is infinite, which actually a lot of creationists will agree that it is, infinite probability states that there is nothing that won't happen at some point in an infinite, space or set of time. And with billions of years, there's no reason that life couldn't have came to exist, since the universe is believed to be 12 to 14 billion years old. And, even if the universe isn't infinite, billions of years is definitely enough time for life to form. So it is definitely not unbelievable, creationists, that life came here by chance. All of the stuff needed, came from space, or, just kind of came, it formed a cell, the cell divided. So your arguments are against that are kind of invalid. But, that's kind of the basis of, it's my defense against creationists kind of saying, oh, no, evolution isn't why life on Earth is the way that it is today, and it's not why humans are who they are. It was all God. I tend to think that's all bullshit, but I can't really disprove it. So, that's all I really have to say. But, if I missed anything, or if you have an argument for something that I did cover in this video, leave a comment about what I missed or what you want me to answer, and I'll definitely try to get back to you on it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is my first video, so it's not going to be amazing. It's, I'm probably not very good at this. I tried to keep it a little more professional, but if I do make any more videos, they'll probably lean more towards comedic value rather than me just arguing my point. And they'll probably be a bit more offensive, so be warned about that. But leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to comment what you want my next video to be about. And thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.